Hello, my name is Max Crandall. It's an honor to share this energy today for free expression in solidarity with the Palestinian people. I'm here on behalf of Small Press Traffic, a Bay Area seedbed for poets who push boundaries in the arts. We're based in Yalamu, San Francisco, California, on the unceded land of the Ramaytush Ohlone people. I'll be your host for the next half hour with readings from Julie Carr, Hilary Leftwich, Dave Snyder, Dina Harry Salah, Rajiv Mohabir, and Anas J. Katab. This time slot was curated by Julie Carr at Counterpath Press in Denver, Colorado. First up is Julie, who comes to us on a pre-recorded video. Julie Carr is the author of over a dozen books, most recently The Garden, co-published by Pominar Press and Essay Press.
Hi everyone, I'm Julie Carr, and I'm really honored to be part of this beautiful and important project for the third year, and grateful to Ghazal and the other organizers for keeping it moving and continuing our efforts to speak together across the globe towards our shared desire for freedom and justice for Palestine and for all people. This next group of poets from Denver and Minneapolis is loosely affiliated with Counterpath, which is the performance space and gallery and garden that I run with my partner Tim Roberts in Denver, and also affiliated with the podcast Return the Key, which I host, and are just also people who I really care about and who I knew would bring something important to this lineup. So thanks to all of them for their readings, and I'll just read a few poems to begin with. It was all you shall be holy, walking with in the ways of, if you'll only just leave some grain for the gleaners, they'll eat the bitterness left behind. But now only the dead are full. The earth turns their mouths foul. Now there is nothing left but the turning this way and that. As the season that is felt in the back of the neck, as the water in the bathtub from warm to cool, as the dog on the leash on the way to the scent of a creature that exists in his memory, as the leaves do in branches before budding, when the tilt of the earth on its spin, like the mother in the kitchen is dancing, in the memory of the daughter who is dancing, as the mind toward an idea outside of it, encountered in the words that were written by an exiled man in the shadow of a century launched into sickness that no one could stop or deny, the groundswell of bodies and horses, the ships at the shore unsailing, the future without shape, without form. As the blade of grass under the weight of frost, in the dark into dark before dawn, as the tip of a flame when the wind has blown through a door left open or a window, as the fetus in the womb before birthing, as the head when reading or praying, or when the person is ashamed, as the crest of the wave as it gathers to break, to become once again its own origin, as an image in the mind when succumbing to the mind's desire to forget it, to not see any longer that body, that mouth that should never forgive us, as the child when ordered to gather the stones or the toys or the clothing, lying strewn or torn or broken in what had once been her school or her home. It was all. Your thirst is sated only by more thirst. The forlorn leaves becoming sodden as toward an aimless desire. A hammock holds what could be a body swaying one day. Thank you so much.
Next up, we have a video from Dina Harry Salah, a non-binary trans Palestinian artist scholar of the diaspora. They are a PhD candidate in the Critical Ethnic Studies Department at CU Boulder, and their research seeks to situate the refugee as settler toward a liberation ethic, partially through generating new cosmologies influenced by Islam and the material reality of the current age.
His first poem is called Rubble. Rubble is not heavy enough a word. For the 1,000-pound concrete and stone gargantuan fragmentations plunged onto 100-pound bodies, 50-pound bodies, babies made ancestors, pulled with bare hands from under this occupation. Let that word take our breaths away, break and shatter our bones. Allow the locution to fill our noses and mouths with the sharp dust of destruction, like the seraphs in Palestine. And maybe then we can get some justice. This is called Redacted. My father, older than the state of Israel, survived the Nakba at 5 years old. The army arrived in the middle of the night with guns and fire, burned his family home, forced to walk miles, miles, miles to Nasra for a new life. Did he have a stuffed animal to carry? Was he carried, held by his family? He's forgotten much of it now, his body's way of protection from the pain of exile and a world that demands his forgetting. This is called I Remember in Tibria. I was carried for the first time by waves as my decade-aged feet bounced off the hardness of multicolor rocks. In pure joy, I felt what it means to be free. This is called Leblad. I still call Palestine back home. Does she remember me? White Subaru riding, nighttime summer breeze, through a city they call Tel Aviv, we call Yafa, to Nasra with ease. The dark roads winding up, hills of green, and stone houses, a floor for each family. Sitti lived downstairs. For some reason, she liked me, spoke Arabic I didn't know, and gave me bags of olives with a few dead roaches. I watched as her wizened hands moved the ovular fruits and bugs from one black bag to another, nodding my head as though I understood. This is Yalla Yamshi. Mommy and Daddy, who couldn't cross their own roads, trekked from stone homes and the dabke of their families over desert and ocean to the Wild West, land-stealing belly of the beast, so that we could eat and not be eaten by it. Now we know we drink the blood of our people, spilled on our land, by our own hands toiling for the creation of moms. We hear and see cracking bones while tears fall in a lonely brick house, still hungry for a feast. Beasts by nature can never satiate. This is a vision. I'm alive with all my loves in Palestine. Under poppies and buttercups, we eat breakfast of hummus and labneh and zaytun. We're outside, the birds chirp, children scream in delight, and Palestine is free. Turtle Island is free. And though we know freedom's not free, we are all. I smile as I look around at the faces of my beloveds. I remember this poem. Remember, anything we have ever made starts with a vision. My father outlives the occupation. My hands peel Yafa oranges, pluck al-Nasra figs, turn the rich Ramal soil like kinetic sand in the land that made my body, to which I return. Imagine us all living in liberation, celebrating life. Imagine that. This is my last poem, and it's called The Birds Tell Us. Behind Khalid's voice, birds sing in Gaza, his cadence and the gentle avian musicality surviving against the rat-a-tat and shaitan of killing. He apologizes for the bombs in the background, asks me why I'm sad. Don't think that what you're going through is nothing compared to being in a war. I'm here to listen. I know you would do the same. I tell him one day we will eat msakhan together, but he says he doesn't want to hear it because he doesn't want to hope. Gaza will live. Khalid will live. The birds tell us. Thank you.
Next up, we have a reading from Hilary Leftwich. Hilary teaches contemporary and hybrid nonfiction, lyric essays, hermit crab, collage, segmented, braided, digital storytelling, documentary poetics, fiction, environmental studies, anti-racist and contemplative androgyny, narrative medicine, and empathic medical writing.
This piece is called Dispossessed. It's from my latest book, St. Dymphna's Playbook. At the women's homeless dinner, I mixed shredded lettuce, apple slices, and ranch dressing into a bowl the size of the moon. Chicken bakes inside the industrial steel oven, and potatoes steam on the countertop, waiting to be buttered. The women have chosen their beds. An older woman shakes her head when a younger girl claims the back cot was hers first. She tells the ceiling she's not getting kicked out when there are plenty of beds for everyone tonight. If the women are anxious, they don't let on. Tonight, it's about warm food and coffee with the brand name powdered creamer. Oatmeal cookies and sugar wafers. Seconds of everything. No questions asked. Foot soaks and fingernail painting with a rainbow of nail polish colors to choose from. I take a smoke break with one of the women out back in the alley. We talk about the moon and the forgotten people who scrape themselves down the streets, lost in their own thoughts. The night is busy with the laughter of the bars and nightclubs lining the blocks, sirens and screaming. Later, the women tuck themselves into bed, close to the edge of whatever form of contentment they have for the night. They are lined up in rows, swaddled under pink and purple fuzzy blankets, a nursery for adults. Claudia, the new volunteer who asks everyone for their astrological sign, calculates my suns and moons, and tells me I'm as close to the earth as anyone she's ever met. As a girl, I remember being lost in a field of wildflowers, not caring if I ever found my way out. If I lived there forever, safe with the scents of columbines and wild bergamot. The cars outside on Broadway Street stop and go, in rhythm with the bass music of the bars. The women settle down in their beds and make noises of contentment. Bellies full, bodies warm. Outside the kitchen window, a man presses himself against the glass and points at the leftover food as I scrub dishes. He is a scarecrow, barely a man. His mouth opens and closes to the churn of the dishwasher. I look, but there is nothing left to give him. Scraps of chicken bones and potato skins, remnants of salad with shreds of carrots. We are empty, all of us. I shake my head, but he doesn't see me. Someone in the back room taps out a sad melody on the piano, humming a familiar lullaby my mother sang to me when I was a girl. They tap and hum to the movement of the man's mouth, not caring that the keys are out of tune.
Next up is Dave Snyder. Dave Snyder grew up in Minneapolis, the grandson of Holocaust survivors who fled Austria in 1939. He has spent the last 30 years as a campus living wage activist, labor organizer, and currently serves on the board of directors of Unidos Minnesota and is co-founder of the Minnesota chapter of Friends of Standing Together, Israel-Palestine.
Hi, everyone. The first of three poems. This one is called Survived by Earth. It's about extinction and the moment after. Soon we fear our God will be dead with us, crumpled to the ground as her children perish, on barren ground, scorched and rising seas. On the other side of our final suffering, on the other side of our final leave-taking, there is silence and a final forgetting, heavy upon a hurtling empty earth. Our deeds and our dead unremembered, the story of humankind, the story our God sang across centuries, stilled after one final exhalation to the spinning stars. If this is our fate, what will you do today? As her sight dims, should she not see her children reaching for each other? This next one is called One American Jew in the Israel-Palestine Conflict. I wrote it around 10 years ago. I walk slowly from my spot on the sofa into my kitchen to check on some boiling water. I see the fire has spread across my stove, and I walk slowly back to my sofa, because what would people think? A year passes. Then I walk slowly back into my kitchen. Flames lick the walls, engulf the refrigerator, and I walk slowly back to my sofa, because I'm not sure how exactly the fire started. 6 months pass. Now the flames surround me on my sofa, shoot out the windows. I remember I have a cat in the house with me. I crawl under the sofa to see if I can find it, because the fire probably won't affect me. 3 months pass. The flames crackle in every room. The roof collapses and sends plumes of black smoke to heaven. Finally, I remember my family was in the house with me, in every room. So I climb out of the hole I have dug with my hands, through layers of carpet, wood, stone, and earth, beneath my sofa. I have only the water that fits within my cupped hands, and I still don't know how fire works, except that you need to take the risk to stay in the room with it, and it helps to be shoulder to shoulder with friends, and to pass a bucket that you can share. And finally, that it is not so wise to stay on the sofa. Third poem, Mothers. For the mothers of grief, mothers of stillborn babies, and those who died in childbirth, mothers of the disappeared, mothers of abortion, for motherless mothers, mothers who wrestled with illness and carried children through it, single mothers of endless toil, for those unable to bear children, and for those stung by judgment for not wanting to. Portals of joy and life, spinners of looms of grief, we welcome you and yours, rising and descending. We name your grief like a constellation, not to change its course, not to know it or master it, sending words out like a rocket, brash, then small and silent as it approaches you. Thank you.
Next up is poet, memoirist, and translator Rajiv Mohabir, the author of 5 books of poetry that have been awarded gold in Forward Indies and Eric Hoffer Medal Provocateur. His other honors include being finalist for the National Book Critics Circle Award, the PEN America Open Book Award, the Lambda Literary Award, the Randy Schiltz Award for Gay Nonfiction, and both second place and finalist for the Guyana Prize for Literature. His translations have won the Harold Morton Landed Translation Award from the American Academy of Poets.
Hi there. I'm going to be reading several hybrid works for you. The first is a critique of our American culture as we see the kind of bombing that's been happening in Gaza and how we've been distracting ourselves with circuses. Oh, look, Taylor Swift. And Israel is still killing people with American funded warheads. I must have seen 20 prairie dogs bloating in the sun. Tire tracks in red and black, both on tawny fur and asphalt. I can easily narrate the story of what happened, though I will omit the gas companies sabotaging public transit, or that I was playing The Cure, remembering sucking you off in the parking lot when you visited me last time from Boston. I was with you that night of Taylor's last release, 10 albums in 4 years, as though she's not an artist but a hamster. Kazim says so few are interested in artistry these days that it may as well be a phantasm, at least in poetry. But why not also in the world of recording artists who don't give two shits about the actual people who listen to them, but only about the numbers of streams and downloads or whatever? But who doesn't love the gift of a soundtrack? 67,173 dead now in Gaza. Before playlists, we made mixtapes recording the radio play on the boombox, the record and play buttons mashed down together. And now it's as though I can hear your laughter, not like it's in the next room, but as though you are here in front of me, accidentally spitting on my face. At least you can hold a cassette tape. At least the illusion of the next room still allows the imagination, the space of absence. America is erasing both Gaza and the word genocide. No'u says, pay attention to what grows, not only what is killed. We must love and fight at the same time. It's like saying every poem is a death poem. Your breath map into my own heartbeat as though you see yourself clutching the blue rubber grip of my pen, pulse beating out as increasing blood sugar. Gazans don't even have access to bread. Israel is bombing Rafah right now. You haven't called me in a couple of days, and I keep checking your Instagram story. At least 20,179 children murdered in the genocide. People are dying, Merijan, and I miss you. I'm going to end with a ghazal called Palestine, Philistine, that was accepted for publication and then was denied acceptance after they read the political content of this. And this is about kind of like the ways BIPOC spaces, even also in the United States, erase American complicity in the genocide in Gaza. Philistine. Do you turn away from this genocidal race in Palestine? Is your heart that void of space for Palestine? Israel has the right to defend itself. I've heard people cry out, old traumas triggered as they deface Palestine. Look, this is not a Jew, Muslim, or Christian matter, but of you not seeing humanity in the faces of Palestine. Yes, you are complicit. America refuses ceasefire, supplies bombs for the Israeli army to erase Palestine. Gaza, Rafah, from the river to the sea. No, wait. Football is on. Taylor and Travis have more place here than Palestine. Didn't your God, your prophet, your king learn wisdom in this same city? Why starve, destroy all trace of Palestine? Israel, America, settler colonies that are not land of the brave. No one will be free unless we free in good faith Palestine. Am I repeating Palestine too often for your liking? Gaza? How about genocide? How about you embrace Palestine? Rajiv, How much time do you spend editing? Why write poems when every 15 minutes a child is killed in Palestine? Thank you.
Next up, Anas J. Khattab was born and raised in Nablus, Palestine. The son of a repatriated refugee born in exile in 1969, his family returned from Jordan to the old city of Nablus in 1974, where they lived until 2007. His father, a tailor, supported the family through years of political and social upheaval. Anas earned his law degree in 2017 and joined the Palestinian Bar Association in 2020, practicing civil and criminal law in the West Bank until moving to the United States in 2023. He now works as an organizer with SEIU Healthcare Minnesota and Iowa's Member Action Center, and is a co-founder of Minnesota Friends of Standing Together. He currently lives in Minneapolis with his turtle shell cat.
Hello, everyone. I am Anas, and I am humbled to share a few minutes of poetry with you all. Today, I will be reading two quotes from the works of the Syrian poet Riyad Saleh Hussein, specifically from his poems Desires and Bad Man. I'll be reading both in Arabic and English. Wherever you are joining from, welcome. أسأل صديقتي لماذا للمرة الألف نبات منقطعان عن الحب ممتلئان بالخنادق كامتلاء دمية بالقش وبعد قليل يغطي الغبار جسدينا وبعد قليل نتشبث بغصن التعب. I ask my friend, why for the thousandth time are we annihilated? Cut off from love, filled with trenches, the way a doll is stuffed with straw. And soon dust will cover our bodies, and soon we will cling to a branch of exhaustion. أريد أن أضع بحرا في الزنزانة، أريد أن أسرق الزنازين وألقيها في البحر. أريد أن أضع بحرا في الزنزانة، أريد أن أسرق الزنازين وألقيها في البحر. أريد أن أمتلك مسدسا لأطلق النار على الذئاب. أريد أن أكون ذئبا لأفترس من يطلقون النار. أريد أن أختبئ في زهرة خوفا من القاتل. أريد أن يموت القاتل حينما يرى الأزهار. أريد أن أفتح نافذة في كل جدار. أريد أن أفتح نافذة في كل جدار. أريد أن أضع جدارا في وجه من يغلقون النوافذ. أريد أن أكون زلزالا لأهز من يغلقون النوافذ. أريد أن أكون زلزالا لأهز القلوب المكسورة. أريد أن أدس في كل قلب زلزالا من الحكمة. أريد أن تكون الكلمة شجرة أو رغيفا أو قبلة. أريد لمن لا يحب الشجرة والرغيف والقبلة أن يمتنع عن الكلام. I want to pour a sea into the prison cell. I want to steal the cells and cast them into the sea. I want to own a gun to shoot the wolves. I want to be a wolf to tear apart those who pull the trigger. I want to hide inside a flower, afraid of the killer. I want the killer to die whenever he sees a flower. I want to open a window in every wall. I want to raise a wall against those who close the windows. I want to be an earthquake to rattle all the broken hearts. I want to slip into every heart an earthquake of wisdom. I want the world to become a tree or a loaf of bread or a kiss, and I want those who love neither trees, nor bread, nor kisses, to choose silence instead. Thank you for holding this space with me.